What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction. In this video, we have thousands gathered for protests across the nation, 9 News Australia. Before we dive into this, if you guys happen to enjoy, please don't forget to smash that subscribe button, give a video a thumbs up. Also, if you'd like to support the channel any further, in the description there's a Patreon link, there's a premium request link. Hit either link, make a suggestion. Let's get to it.
Been injured, pelted with rocks and bottles in Melbourne as they attempted to keep rival protesters from clashing. Officers kept the peace in Sydney as anti-immigration and anti-racism groups demonstrated across the country.
The city divided. In one corner of Hyde Park, the anti-immigration March for Australia.
We don't have enough housing at the moment for the people we've got here, and we're letting them in by the thousands.
In the other corner, the rally against racism.
Australia for everyone. We're built on the back of migrants.
A different view down the road.
You wonder why I'm angry.
So angry, she held up her own anti-immigration protest. Several thousand rolled up, united under the Southern Cross, calling for immigration to be reined in.
We should have quality migration, not quantity migration.
At the last anti-immigration march, neo-Nazis gate-crashed the front of the rally. This time, no Nazis. Ordinary Australians and young children are leading the front. She calls herself Beck Freedom, the national organiser for March for Australia.
In a crowd like this, you're going to have many different opinions. However, March for Australia's message is end mass immigration, protect our heritage, our culture and our way of life.
And imagine walking outside St Mary's after morning mass to see a forest of flags and speakers calling for a halt to migration.
It's not good.
In Melbourne, the police had a tougher job using stun grenades and pepper spray to keep the two groups apart.
Trying to exercise our democratic right to protest.
Tactical police were pelted with rocks and glass
gosh.
bottles.
Not a small rock. We had our port members who come out with their riot gear and their shields. These rocks were cracking some of those shields today.
One officer suffered a broken hand, another cuts to their leg.
Today was a bad day for Victoria Police. I think it was a bad day for Melbourne.
In the Brisbane March for
When you see that, like, it's just saddening. You see so much division, you see so much anger, you see violence, like that stuff. Like it's really tough to see. It's like, but I get completely understand where both sides are coming from. That's why it's so tough. Like, and I feel like if they just listen to each other, if they just sat down and listen to each other, there would be more understanding. There would be so much more. But I've said the reason in so many videos. You got the Australians that are against immigration. You have so many that are fed up, that are struggling. That, I mean, cost of living is getting out of hand. The housing market, there's not enough houses to house them. So why are we bringing in more people? There's so many issues. I get that. I completely understand. And then you got the other side that see these neo-Nazis in a lot of this. And they're like, oh, they're racist. Like, but on the immigration side, you have so many people who just want the opportunity for a better life. You have so many people that are running from a country that they're afraid in. Of course, you have people that don't have the right intentions on both sides, not just on one side, on both sides. And so you got these immigrants that, yeah, have been in Australia for so long, that have worked so hard, that it still feels like, even though a lot of the March for Australia is against illegal immigration, it almost feels like a lot of legal migrants are targeted in the sense of, when you're talking about these people, I guess I won't say in Australia, because I would say in America we have that situation, but I won't say that about Australia. I don't particularly know the situation in Australia, but I just mean I can understand both sides, and it's a very difficult solution for those in power in Australia. I don't know what else to say other than that.
Australia, MP Bob Catter vented his concerns.
There's no jobs. All of the factories and production units have all closed down and gone overseas, right? So what the hell are they doing there?
Mark Burrows, 9 News.
Protest violence has again erupted in our city as riot police and demonstrators went toe-to-toe on city streets. It came as anti-racism activists tried to confront an anti-immigration rally. Police say a number of officers were injured, describing protesters who threw rocks and bottles as cowards. More from Isabel Quinlan.
Flashbangs and pepper spray on Spring Street as police move in to keep opposing protesters apart. And some of their own become sitting targets on another violent Sunday in the city.
These were being thrown at police. Bottles filled with shards of glass were being thrown at police. Rotten fruit was being thrown at police.
The Blue Line had been bolstered in preparation, but tonight 2 officers are in hospital and the top brass is furious.
I have a sergeant.
I understand frustration. I understand being upset. I understand feeling like things aren't fair. This isn't right. But no, the violence to me, that's where the line has to be drawn. Like, I'm protest for whatever cause, but for these officers that are going out in the line of duty, that are doing their job and just trying as best as they can to keep peace, doing their best to keep peace, and they're getting these size rocks thrown at them, broken hands, they're getting hurt. Like, come on. That's not right. And for anybody who threw rocks, that's not right. You've got to know that's not right. For anybody inciting violence, you've got to know that's not right. But I think the issue is a lot of us are turning to politicians when I don't believe politicians can have the solution. I believe a lot of us need to look in the mirror and you know what, and say, how can I change, right? How can I change? Because a lot of us are blaming and pointing fingers at the other side, but a lot of us never look in the mirror. A lot of us never, hey, how can I change to better help this country? But that to me, I mean, the one person that I look to is my Lord and Savior, Jesus. And that's me and my faith, but I just don't put my trust in politicians because there's so much corruption. And I'm not saying there's not good, honest politicians out there. I'm not saying that. But with so much corrupt ones, it's hard to put your trust in any of them. But I know who I can put my trust in and who I can put my faith in.
A female sergeant who went to hospital with a suspected broken hand because she was kicked at. I have a member with a nasty gash on his leg.
It was a group against mass immigration wrapped in Australian flags.
I'm not racist, but we really do need to look at our own people.
Versus those who say they're anti-racism and determined to outnumber.
We know that for every person here, there are thousands who stand behind us.
This was the second March for Australia rally organised for the streets of Melbourne. In August, neo-Nazis were front and centre as violence erupted and a First Nations camp was ambushed. Today, a key leader is still locked up over his alleged actions and organisers acknowledge their numbers have dwindled.
Do not be demoralised. It's always going to be a little more difficult in the current political climate.
I've come every time and it's for that reason, for the kids. I just fear for their future.
Police say this time they didn't cause trouble.
The people that came to pick the fight were police.
Oh, my son's trying to wake up a little bit, I see.
Issue-motivated groups on the left. They're cowards.
These people are trying to build a divisive movement based on racism, and we say racism isn't welcome here.
They come on a boat to themselves. The hypocrisy in that.
The counter rally gathered an hour earlier, marching from the State Library to State Parliament. they were ready for a face-off. But as tensions flared and protesters separated and spread out, so too did the effort to restore some calm. Police are not taking any chances. They continue to move around the city, following each group, making sure there's a human barrier between the two sides. By the early afternoon, officers had regained control of the city, arresting any troublemakers who remained.
Really, enough's enough.
And Isabel Quinlan joins me now.
It's just so difficult because you see this happening in so many countries, not just Australia. You see that division between two sides in so many countries, and it's getting so divisive and so violent and so hurtful, and it's scary. It's honestly scary.
Police headquarters. Izzy, do we know how many people were arrested?
Well, after all of that violent behaviour today, Pete, only one person was arrested, a 30-year-old woman from Brunswick West. Further arrests, though, are not being ruled out. Police are looking for another 40 to 50 people they believe were involved, and they concede it's going to be a difficult task ahead of them, with many of those people wearing face coverings and hoodies, Pete. But they say they won't rest until those people are brought to justice.
Isabel Quinlan, thank you for that report.
Good evening. Thousands of people have swarmed our city streets, calling for the end of mass migration in another March for Australia. But they weren't the only ones with a message. Warring factions of political ideals kept apart by a heavy police presence as the anti-immigration and anti-racism protesters each battled to have their voices heard.
Aussie patriotism on steroids.
The war's over, send them home!
Sweeping the streets of the CBD, our flag, our national icons and our sporting cries. Cannon fodder for these Queenslanders on one side of Australia's culture war, claiming the lucky country is at capacity.
We're not going anywhere. This place belongs to us.
We do want immigrants. We just want ones who want to assimilate.
This is the second March for Australia here in Brisbane. Protesters again calling for the end of mass migration, which they say is crippling the country.
The left wing are making up lies and making us look like the bad people.
Shutting down roads, taking over bridges. But on the other side of the city and the political spectrum,
We want to march in solidarity with migrants and show people that they're welcome and they don't have to stay home afraid.
those campaigning against racism.
Can we ask why you're marching today?
Because I hate Nazis.
Police on foot, hoof and wheels working to keep the peace.
I'm not beaching the peace. This is a joke, mate.
And when opposing ideologies appear to be on a collision course, a police partition kept furies from facing off. A city divided. Still, police say on both sides the thousands who rallied today were largely peaceful, arresting just 3 people. Pat Heaney, 9 News.
Yeah, it's just scary. Like, my days. Because I said, not just in Australia, but in so many countries, you see such division. And between these two sides, you see such hatred. You see the name calling, the insults, the just the hatred between the two sides, and it sucks to watch. It genuinely for those we're commanded to love each other. To love each other. Love your enemy. Don't insult and call names, throw rocks, hurt, whether that be with words or actual physical violence. Like, seeing this it's just frustrating. It's absolutely frustrating. It's just it's sad to see the world in this state. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section. I would love to hear